Now, you already know Professor Jain, who chaired in this morning, and is an authority on Jainism. Very few people who have so thoroughly studied the original text of Jainism. That too, original text written in Sanskrit. That is the speciality with this person. Prakrit, etc., they might have studied. But very few scholars are there who have access to Sanskrit philosophical writings in Jainism. And Professor Jain is one of them. His book on Pramana Mimamsa, Jaina Bodha Pramana Mimamsa in Hindi. I have read it, you should read it. And you will find that all his conclusions are drawn on the basis of original source. And one of the aim of this conference, as per my concept, was to address everything only pointing out towards the original source. Interpretations can be various, but we must address the original source. And that we want to collect and develop into a book of anthology of these different views and make it available to one and all for reflection. That is the primary motive behind this. So in this, now you can see that you have seen that the normal understanding, you say all agyana, is not jnana, agyana, that Indians are dogmatic in their thinking. Many people carry this view. Had they been dogmatic, can there be 8 varieties of Vedanta? Is it possible? Vedanta is not only one variety. So different perspectives, different interpretations, all are welcome. And they all have every right to hold their view. So this is all misunderstanding, ignorance, non-knowledge, and then give a judgment that they are dogmatic in approach. What is dogmatism? Can you define it and then apply? Today you are going to see Professor Jain is going to present another worldview, the worldview of the Jainas. And in that worldview, how the problem of all-inclusive spirituality can be addressed. These are different models of thought, different models of understanding. Not necessarily that one is going to impose one model on the other. And this is how the depth has been acquired. Dialogue is necessary. And our tradition has always encouraged dialogue. It is only those who do not know anything about it may hold this view. So, here is a person who has direct access to original source. And from him we are going to listen to this topic of conflict resolution. Is a so pertinent topic. Every day we are facing how in Jainism you can solve this. So without taking much time, I invite Professor Dharamchand Jain to present his paper. Thank you.
I welcome you all of you. I should start my lecture from a verse of Prashamrati Prakaran, which was propounded by Uma Swati. Swarga sukhani parokshani atyantam paroksham moksha sukham pratyaksham prashama sukham na paravasham na veya praptam. Generally, all the philosophies and religions talk about heaven and moksha, emancipation. And that is the ultimate aim almost of all the philosophies. That we have to go to heaven or to get emancipation. But Uma Swati in his Prashamrati Prakaran says that it cannot be experienced, heaven cannot be experienced here. So how to believe? And moksha, it cannot be experienced, it is more paroksha, atyantam paroksham. How can we proceed then further? So he proposes pratyaksham prashama sukham. Prashama sukham, the bliss of peace is pratyaksh to us. It can be perceived by us. Bliss of peace. And it has no dependence of anything. Na paravasham, na veya praptam, no expenditure of money and time is required for that. We people generally are familiar with worldly pleasures or sensual pleasures. And we do not want to renunciate them because of we do not have any another pleasure or bliss in front of us. We do not have. We do not tested that bliss or pleasure. So the people do not want to renunciate worldly pleasures or sensual pleasures. This is the dilemma of this tendency of us, I think. So Prashamrati Prakaran is rightly says, and removing our conflict, that pratyaksham prasham sukham. Prasham sukham, what is prasham sukh? Prasham is shanti or shamanam, subsidence of our evil passions. Subsidence of our evil passions, kashayas, that is peace, that can be experienced in this lok, in this world by us. And it can be experienced by our soul or mental peace also. But we are generally accustomed to sensual pleasures. So this problem comes to us, that what path should be adopted by us. So swarga sukhani parokshani atyantam paroksham moksha sukham pratyaksham prasham sukham na paravasham na veya praptam. Na paravasham, it is not dependent on anything else. That if we want sensual pleasure, then we depend on something, that if we achieve that, then we will get its pleasure. But for peace, we do not depend on anything, and it is not achieved by any expenditure of money, etc. So this is the beginning. But in our life, we have many conflicts, many types of conflicts. Those may be about our mutual relations and behavior, or those may be about religions. And these conflicts arise due to our wrong beliefs and misunderstandings. We adhere to our thoughts and opinions, but discard other thoughts and opinions because of narrow-mindedness and prejudices. Although the religions in the world have a motto to unite the people of the world in brotherhood and love, but due to malintentions of the leaders and staunchness of the followers, some conflicts prevail among the religions. The humanity suffers from aversion to the followers of other religions. Conflict is not bad if it gives a rise to the development of human values, philosophy, and the nation. Philosophy has been developed through conflicts among the Buddhism, among the Naiyayikas, among the Jainas, among the Vedantis. So philosophy has developed. So there is useful, conflict is useful for that development also. But it is shocking when it converts into fundamentalism and intolerance. It is known from the history that countless wars have been fought in the name of religions. Many staunch followers do not understand the heart of the religion and they develop a superiority complex that they are better than other religious followers. Hence, they hate others. This tendency is found everywhere among the family members, society, and between the nations. Future of human world depends on education, which a person gets at home and through various courses and curriculum of the various institutes. Education has a very significant role in developing and building the mental understanding of a human being. If a person is lacking spiritual and moral values in education, then conflicts among the people arise more frequently. For maintaining peace, harmony and mutual cooperation with positive attitude to all human beings and the other living beings of the world, spiritual and moral values must be included in world education. A person faces conflicts in his own life due to his mismanagement of thought process and misunderstanding about the reality and priority order of the tasks to be done. In this respect, proper education with spiritual and moral values can help. Jaina religion and philosophy has many tenets for development of right understanding and deciding the right conduct to avoid conflicts in the minds of the people. A few of them are non-absolutism, non-violence, tolerance, forgiveness, truthfulness, honesty, celibacy, limiting the possessions, theory of karma, etc. All of these provide a vision to change the mentality of a person for conflict removal. These can also help in bringing peace, harmony, and solutions to many made problems. Anekantvad and Nayavad, Jain philosophy has given us a thought of non-absolutism, that is Anekantvad, which establishes unity in the diversities and harmony among the people of different ideologies. It gives an idea to honor other ideology. In the world, reality is one and the same, but the philosophers view it from different visions and mention the truth in different ways. It would be wrong to say that the views of one philosopher are right while others are totally wrong. They may be true from their own perspective. Hence, the harmony towards the persons of different ideas should be maintained. We can have an example of the photographs of a building taken from different angles. Every photograph is true from an angle, but we cannot say that photograph taken by me is only true and other photographs are wrong. Here, all the photographs depict a photo of the same object from the different angles. We can understand Anekantvad through this example. We have to, hence all the photographs may be correct from different points of view. We have to examine the truth value of all the photographs. Similarly, all the religious and philosophical thoughts have some truth value, but we have to examine and accept them. This is the message of Anekantvad of Jain philosophy. Tirthankar Mahavir, I suggest an example from Vyakhya Pragyapti Sutra. There a question was raised about the universe, lok, the word universe. Is the lok endless or has an end? Is the lok has an end or is it endless? Mahavir replied this question from 4 points of views. From the substance point of view, the universe is finite. From the space point of view, also it is finite. From the time point of view, it is endless. And from the view of modes, paryayas, also it is infinite. Thus, this technique of understanding and explaining the things is amply available in Jain canonical literature. Many questions have been replied from the different views. A question was raised that the worldly souls are eternal or non-eternal. Mahavir replied that from the substantial point of view, souls are eternal, but from the view of modes, they are non-eternal. This method of answering has been accepted widely in Jain canonical literature. So, in case of conflicts, we have to look at the problem from different viewpoints. These are the examples of text, original text. They have different views to answering the questions. So there is no certain answer. Lok is endless or with an end. There is no certain answer, but there are the views to answer the question. Non-absolutism of Jain philosophy prevents an individual to be dogmatic and one-sided in approach. It pleads for a broader outlook and an open-mindedness which can resolve the conflicts that emerge from differences in ideologies and faiths. A renowned Jain philosopher, Siddhasen Divakar, 5th century, has rightly said, all schools of thought, Nayas, are valid when they are understood from their own standpoints and as far as they do not discard the truth value of others. Jainism has developed framework of Nayas. Naya is standpoint. To observe a multifaceted object in Anekantvad, a Naya can be defined as a standpoint. To know the object, it does not rule out other different viewpoints and expresses a partial truth about an object. These Nayas or standpoints may be many in number, but Jain philosophers have discussed mainly two Nayas as substance standpoint and mode viewpoint, that is, Dravyarthik Naya and Paryayarthik Naya. These two Nayas solve the problems of eternality and non-eternality, of reality, which are propounded respectively by Vedantists and Buddhists. Both these schools have confrontation about defining the reality. Jaina philosophy solves this problem by giving theory of standpoints. According to Jainism, reality is eternal from the substance viewpoint and it is non-eternal from the viewpoint of modes. This Naya theory weaves together the two opposite philosophical tenets and accepts that every substance of the world can be thought to have two opposite characters. From the substance point of view, everything is permanent, but from the viewpoint of modes or change, everything is changing every moment. In Jaina view, every entity of the world has multiple characters, and we do not perceive all the characters at the moment. Hence, logically, it will be wrong to deny the existence of characteristics that we do not perceive. The real entity is the same for all the viewers, but there is a difference due to their own perspective. In other words, we can say unity and diversity are the two facets of the same reality. Reality itself is unity in diversity. From the generic point of view, unity is perceived, and from the specific point of view, diversity is observed. Jainism also propounds two standpoints in a different way. Nishchayanaya, that is a spiritual viewpoint, and Vyavharanaya, that is empirical viewpoint. Nishchayanaya leads a person to the spiritual truth, whereas Vyavharanaya puts him forward for a good conduct. These two viewpoints are complementary to each other. If a person stresses only on Nishchayanaya, then he may sideline the code of conduct and proper behavior. And if he stresses on Vyavharanaya, then he may derail from his ultimate goal. Hence, there is a need of both the Nayas for real progress towards the ultimate goal. Jaina philosophers also propounded 7 standpoints as Naigam Naya, Sangraha Naya, Vyavhar Naya, Raju Naya, Shabda Naya, Samabhirud Naya, and Evam Bhut Naya. Naigam Naya is a standpoint which accepts both generic and specific viewpoints of reality. Sangraha Naya defines the reality as generic class view. Vyavhar Naya propounds it as the standpoint of particular. Raju Naya expounds it as momentary. Shabda Naya is a verbal viewpoint which differentiates the words on the basis of use of particular tense, case ending, gender, number, etc. Samabhirud Naya is an etymological standpoint, and Evam Bhut Naya denotes the actual property in action of the reality. There is a new thing. Out of these 7 standpoints, first 3 are substance viewpoints, and next 4 depict the viewpoints of modes. In other classification, first 4 of these are considered as Arthanaya, and rest 3 classified as Shabdanaya. These Nayas help in understanding the motive of a speaker. Apart from these 7 Nayas, theory of 7-fold predication also exists. In these predications, a word syat is used in the determinate perspective as syad asti, syad nasti, syad asti nasti, syad avaktavye, syad asti avaktavye, syad nasti avaktavye, syad asti nasti avaktavye. Now, here it is to be quotable that Jain philosopher Malli Sen and Yashovijay have categorically mentioned that Nyaya Vaisheshik philosophers represent Nayagam Naya, Sankhya and Vedant philosophers represent Sangrah Naya, Charvak viewpoint represents Vyavahar Naya, Buddhist philosophy represents Riju Sutra Naya, and the philosophers of grammar may present Shabda Naya. In this way, Jain philosophers perceive the various Indian philosophies from the different points of views and give regard to them to establish harmony. A person should leave the attitude of obstinacy that he is only true and rest of the people are wrong. If a viewpoint denies other viewpoints, then that is counted as fallacious. Yashovijay says, a true non-absolutism does not disdain any faith but retreats all the salvation-oriented faiths equally as a father behaves to his sons. Jaina philosophers have assimilated Anekantvad in their thinking. Hence, they regard other thinkers with equal respect. Acharya Haribhadra Suri says, I possess no bias for Mahavir and no aversion against Kapil and other saints and thinkers. Whosoever is rational and logical ought to be accepted. Pakshapato na me vire na dveshah kapiladishu yukti mad vachanam yasya tasya karyah parigraha. Haribhadra says again, I venerate all those who are free from all vices and filled with virtues, be they Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva or Jina. Acharya Hemchandra proclaims, Bhava Bijankur Janana Ragadya Kshayamupagata Yasya Brahma va Vishnurva Namo Jinova Namastasmai. I worship those who have destroyed attachment and aversion. The seeds of birth, he be Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva or Jina. This is a liberal attitude of Jain philosophers towards other religions or sects. They give stress on perfection which denotes the eradication of attachment and aversion. Jainas worship the merit of a person. In the sacred Namaskar mantra of Jainas, veneration is paid to the spiritual posts such as Arhat, Siddha, Acharya, Upadhyaya and Sadhu. But there is no individual name. These are the spiritual posts where veneration goes, but there is no name of Mahavir and etc. Jain philosophers have consistently shown reverence to other ideologies and faiths. Sutrakartang, the second earliest Jain work, mentions that those who praise their own faith and views and disregard those of their opponents possess malice against them and hence remain confined to cycle of birth and death. A famous Jaina old text, the Isibhasiyam, comprises the teaching of 45 saints of Shraman and Brahman traditions, Vedic traditions, such as Narad, Bharadwaj, Mankhali Ghoshal, and many others have been presented with due regards of Arhat Rishi. It is a commendable work of collection of 45 rishis. Vachanas are there. They propound about the spirituality, and they are not related to only Jain sect. They are Brahmins, they are Buddhists, and Mankhali Ghoshal and others also. So it is an important text for all for the brilliance of Indian culture and literature. Non-violence, that is another point to remove the conflicts. Non-violence, that is ahimsa, is another tenet of Jainism which bears universal value and has a capacity to resolve conflicts. The concept of non-violence is accepted by almost all the religions of the world, but Jainism observes it minutely. Jainism prohibits not only killing of human beings and animals, but of the vegetable kingdom as well. Harming the plants, polluting water and air are also the act of violence. Jainism has favored non-violence for coexistence of all living beings. It cares not only the life of human beings, but it also cares for the life of animals, birds, insects, serpents, plants, aquatic kingdom, etc. Mahavir suggested that no living being should be killed, governed, made slave, tortured, and made restless. All these are considered as violence in the view of Jainism. Hence, violence is not just killing a living being, but any form of torture, exploitation, mental or physical harm is also violence. Violence may occur through our mind, speech, and actions. Not only this, but to motivate or support others for violence is also considered as a violence. In this way, non-violence has a much broader connotation. It provides directives to think, speak, and behave in such a manner that these does not hurt anyone. First of all, violence generates in our mind, and then it comes to our speech and actions, giving rise to conflicts. Hence, non-violence can act as an important instrument in conflict removal. At the first, it will avoid many possible conflicts, and in case of remaining conflicts, the broader form of non-violence can guide us to the best remedy for conflict removal. Ahimsa is not merely non-violence. It has its positive social aspect, and that can be called as friendliness, maitri, to all living beings. Amit Gati in Samayik Path says, Satveshu maitrim gunishu pramodam klishteshu jiveshu kripa paratvam madhyastha bhavam viparita vrittau sada mamatma vidadhatu deva. Friendliness towards all beings, delight in the qualities of virtuous ones, utmost compassion for afflicted beings, equanimity towards those who are not well disposed towards me. May, O Lord, my soul have such dispositions as these forever. Acharang Sutra establishes importance of others' life. It mentions, all worldly souls love their life. They wish to relish pleasure, loathe misery, hurt or injury is not desired by anybody. Life is dear to all, and they all want to live. This statement gives a message to understand and protect others' life in their right to live. Every living being wants to live. Nobody wants to be killed. We should honor their right to live, and we should lead our life without harming and killing anyone. This lifestyle will help us in removing mutual conflicts among the people and the living beings. Today, a person wants to increase his power by adopting violent attitude and behavior. He forgets the value of others' life and emotions. Jain canonical literature describes the concept of 6 categories of worldly souls as Prithvikayik, Apkayik, Tejaskayik, Vayukayik, Vanaspatikaik, and Traskayik. We can say earth-bodied, water-bodied, fire-bodied, air-bodied, and vegetables, and mobile beings and immobile beings. Sutrakritang Sutra tries to make a man sensitive towards all beings of the world. It says, as you feel pain at the time of beating or torturing by others, so others also feel in that way. This kind of preaching of non-violence, ahimsa, is not limited up to the human beings. Its sphere goes to the all beings of the world. In Acharang and Sutrakritang, non-violence has a social aspect that motivates a man to become sensitive to others with compassion and friendliness. Violent behavior is enemy for the society, but non-violence is its friend. For coexistence and peace of the society, non-violent and friendly behavior is very much essential. It is essential for well-being of all, let it be mobiles, trasjeev, or immobiles, sthavarjeev. In this way, by developing empathy for other living beings, non-violence can play a big role in conflict removal. There is a misconception in our minds that violence and wars are the instruments for bringing peace in our life. But it is notable that violence never can bring peace in our minds and hearts ever. This thinking generates conflicts in our minds many times with other human beings, but a spot of blood on a cloth never can be washed by blood. A spot of a blood on a cloth never can be washed by blood. So violence cannot be resolved by violence. Only non-violence is helpful in establishing internal equanimity and peace. This statement has been told in Buddhism also. In Dhammapad we see there. Actually, impure thought injures the real nature of a soul by disturbing its equanimity. This is called swahinsa, violence of the self. This violence is more harmful because it harms oneself and the others too. External violence occurs after internal violence. Hence, first we have to control the violence on internal level. Weapons and wars are not the actual instruments for establishing peace. Acharang Sutra explains that weapons may be superior to each other, but nothing is superior to non-violence. Atti satham parena param, natti asatham parena param. Although complete non-violence is difficult for a householder, but he can avoid killing as much as possible. Dr. Sagarmal Jain has rightly said, according to Jaina point of view, all the beings have equal right to lead a peaceful life, though violence is unavoidable. Yet it cannot be the directive principle of our living because it goes against the judgment of our faculty of reasoning. If I think that nobody has any right to take my life, on the same ground, I have no right to take another's life. He further says, though in our worldly life, complete non-violence is not possible, yet our motto should be lesser violence is better living. Triratna and its social corollary. Jainism is a religion and philosophy of salvation from sorrows. Fallacious or perverted view, perverted or wrong knowledge and misconduct are the causes of suffering. Fallacious view is the cause of wrong knowledge and wrong knowledge is the cause of misconduct, which includes passions of anger, pride, deceit and greed. All these passions put a person into sorrows. Such a person remains tensed and creates tension for others. It generates confrontation with other people. This confrontation may be avoided by developing the right view, which is helpful in understanding the nature of the world and reality. Jainism underscores the value of right world view, that is Samyak Darshan, right knowledge, Samyak Gyan, and right conduct, Samyak Charitra, for the attainment of salvation. Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitrani Mokshamargaha. And removal of conflicts forever. This path is quite individualistic because it requires detachment from all worldly affairs. In spite of this, Samyak Darshan, an essential element of salvation, bears the characteristic of kindness, anukampa. Kindness is a very important aspect of an individual towards the society and other beings of the world. In the absence of kindness or compassion, karuna, one may not have Samyak Darshan, and in the absence of Samyak Darshan, eternal liberation from worldly sorrows does not occur according to Jainism. There is a nature of Samyak Darshan. What is the nature of Samyak Darshan? How can we know that it is Samyak Darshan, a person has received Samyak Darshan or having Samyak Darshan? So there are 5 parameters: Sham, Samveg, Nirved, Anukampa and Astha, Astikya. Sham is a subsidence of patience. Subsidence of patience, it is required. In Vedanta also, when Adhikari is described, who is Adhikari of Vedanta, there has been told Vidhivat Adhit Veda Vedanta, Vidhivat Adhit Veda Vedanga, or Sadhan Chatushtaya, Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Viraga. Samadhi Shat Sampatti, that is Samyak Darshan. Samadhi Shat Sampatti, that is Samyak Darshan. Ihamutra Phal Bhog Virag, that is also Samyak Darshan, that is Nirved. The same characteristics are there, but words are different, I think. Samadhi Shat Sampatti, Mumukshatvam, Mumuksha. Hence, a right attitude with kindness towards other souls or societies of all beings is essential for ultimate liberation and liberation from conflicts. Right knower, Samyak Jnani, a person having Samyak Darshan changes his behavior from negative to positive towards the other human beings. When he proceeds in right conduct, Charitra, his attitude towards the society bears a radical change. His anger changes into forgiveness, pride into politeness, deceit into simplicity, and greed into contentment. His jealousy converts into love. He loves everybody. He does not love others for his own empirical pleasures, but for the purification of the self. This radical change towards the society occurs after the attainment of Samyak Jnana. It controls the behavior of a person to himself and to others. He understands that as I feel pleasure in favorable conditions, so do others in those conditions. And as I feel grief in unfavorable conditions, so do others. This thinking tilts a person towards real welfare of the world. Rightly has been told in Brihad Kalpa Bhashya. Jam ichchasya panatto, jam chanaichchaisya panatto, tamichcha parasavi, etyagam jinasasanam. What do you desire for yourself? Desire for others too. And what you do not desire for yourself, do not desire for others at all. This is the essence of preaching of Jina. And it has been concluded in Atmaha Pratikulani Pareshamna Samacharit. This is echoed in Sanskrit literature also. Atmanah Pratikulani Pareshamna Samacharit. A person should not behave with others adversely, which is meant adverse for himself. As we expect good conduct, graceful and respectful behavior from others, so should be our behavior with others, protecting their self-esteem and dignity. What we do not like from others, we should not behave in that manner. This is an essential principle of social behavior given in Jain literature. It is also echoed in Acharang Churani in some different words. As I like pleasure and happiness, others also like these, and as I dislike grief and sorrow, others also do not like them. This thinking can protect us from indulging in conflicts with the people we deal with. Now, 5 Anubratas, how can they help in removing conflicts? Although in the morning session, Sanu Shri has presented these 5 Anubratas, but we are taking it again in different context. Jaina Code of Conduct for laypersons mentions 12 vows, out of which 5 vows of partial renunciation, Anubratas, are very important for a good citizen of any country and for the avoidance of unnecessary conflicts in the society. 5 Anubratas are mentioned as abstinence from killing a life, pranatipat viramana; abstinence from falsehood, vrishavad viramana; abstinence from stealing, adattadana viramana; satisfaction with own spouse only, swadar or swapati santosh parimana; and limiting the positions, parigraha parimana, or limiting the desires, ichha vidhi parimana vrat. These Anubratas have social, moral, and spiritual values. A person pursuing these Anubratas cannot be harmful to the society. He may be beneficial in some respect. He bears humanity in him and behaves with compassion and restraint. According to first Anubrata, a person is not allowed to keep others in captivity, to beat or kill them, to mutilate them, to overload and to deprive them of food and drink. We have discussed non-violence separately, so I should go to the next Vrat vows. This shows the necessity of compassion and equality towards other living beings of the world. It involves the recognition of to life of all and their equal right to live. The second Anuvrata is related to control the speaking on of untruth. Liars are not to be harbored in society. Falsehood is censored by saints in the world. Dashvekalek Sutra says, falsehood is censored by saints in the world. It is a cause of mistrust among the people, hence it should be avoided. Musavayo yalogammi savvasahuyam garhiyo avissasoya bhuyanam tamma mosam vivajjaye. It is Prakrit text. One should speak harmless truth. Nothing should be told in such a manner that it might cause embarrassment, anxiety, or unhappiness to others. On the first day, when it was inaugural session, Professor V.N. Jha told many things like such, and he also mentioned about this Vrat and all the vratas, I think, he assimilated them in his lecture, keynote address. Third Anuvrata talk about abstaining from the tendency of theft, taking things that have not been granted or given by honor comes under the category of theft. Refraining from theft shows respect for others' property and rights. It involves abstinence from all deceptive practices such as bribery that lead to social disintegration. This Anuvrat provides power to control economic corruption in the society. Fourth Vrata is important for restraint of sexual corruption. It has at least 3 benefits: increase in mental and spiritual power, control over sexual corruption in the society, and control over some diseases like AIDS. The fifth vow, Vrat, puts limits to the desires of a man or woman for possessing more and more things. It weakens or dissolves the greed towards acquisition of worldly things. Most of the conflicts arise in the society due to money, land, properties, power, etc. This Parigraha Pariman Vrat keeps a person tensionless because of the limits of desire. Jain philosophy says, even if the whole world is given to a person, he will not be satisfied by it. Hence, the worldly things cannot content a soul. Kasinam pijo imam loyam Padipurnam dalijjai kassa tenavi sena santusse e duppure ime aya. The modern society is heading towards the final critical stage of capitalism and facing the danger of increased greed for acquisition of materialistic things. Jainism does not oppose the science and scientific development, but it makes us cautious about the attachment towards the materialistic world. If we do not want to suffer from tension, depression, or bodily diseases, then we must avoid extreme ambition or possession of materialistic goals. Uttradhyan Sutra points out, if the whole world is yours, whole money is yours, then also it is not sufficient for you and it cannot protect you. Nahi vittena tarpaniyo manushya. This message was given by Queen Kamlavati to King Ishukar in Uttradhyan Sutra, which is relevant in the modern society as well. It is the eternal truth that the allurement of materialistic world cannot ultimately protect our lives. The Jain religion and philosophy also propounds that the outer world or materialistic world is not the cause of grief or sorrows. This is pointable, that the outer world or materialistic world is not the cause of grief or sorrows. Our inner world is the real cause of our own sorrows. Mahavir says, the materialistic world is not the cause of equanimity, samta, and inequanimity, vikriti, but the inner world of aversion, pradvesh, and possession, parigraha, through delusion or attachment, generates sorrows or deformity in human beings. Although this teaching of Mahavira is directly related to an individual, its impact goes to the society. Society changes through the fundamental thoughts regarding life. Theory of karma. In the view of Jain karma theory, a person gets results of his own deeds. The concepts of pleasure giving, sata vedaniya karma, and grief of pain giving, asata vedaniya karma, instruct the society in a right path, that if you do good to others, it will result in good to you, and if you do bad to others, it will bear bad consequences to you. The causes of these sata and asata vedaniya karmas have been mentioned in Tattvarth Sutra as follows. Dukkha shokatapa krandan vad paridevanani atma parobhayasthani asad vedyasya. If a soul causes pain, grief, agony, crying, injury, or lamenting to others, then it attracts asata vedani or pain karma. And bhuta pratyanukampa saraga sanyamadi yoga kshanti shauchimiti sadvedyasya. And if a soul generates compassion through charity to all living beings as well as to those observing religious vows, then it is cause of sata vedani or pleasure karma. Forbearance is also a cause of sata vedani. Tattvarth Sutra explains that if we are cooperative to others positively, then as a result it provides us pleasure or happiness. Negative behavior results in pain or asata. This is not just a theory of karma, but also a reciprocal theory of social norms. This guides the society towards, now ending, this guides the society towards the balanced and proper behavior, which in turn benefits the individual also. Here I want to quote that although ontology and metaphysics of Sankhya, Vedanta, Buddhism and Jainism are different, but all of these guide a person to be detached from worldly allurements and to control over the sense organs, mind and the thought process tilting towards wrongdoing. All of these thoughts may be different in their approaches in defining the reality, but these preach to achieve the same goal of emancipation from sorrows forever. Thus, goal is the same, but methods to achieve the goal are different. They may be different, but still there are similarities that all of these instruct a path to remove attachment from the worldly attractions. Hence, according to Jainism, we should find out the path which leads to achieve the goal of eternal happiness, peace and harmony towards all the beings of the world. जो हमको ठीक लगे वो बात अपना लेना चाहिए. The path which is interesting and is interesting or we find it suitable for us, then we should take that path. Conclusion now. Thus, Jainism has propounded non-absolutism, anekantvad, non-violence, ahimsa, conduct of anubratas, including the tenet of limiting the position, concepts of Triratna, theory of karman, etc., to remove conflicts of our minds which are by product of our misunderstanding or ignorance. Right view and right knowledge are the guiding factors of our right attitude and conduct. We have to understand the limits of knowledge occurs through sense organs, mind and intellect, which Vedanta says. Aerial knowledge comes out directly from the soul after a radical change of our internal views. We have to make our mind pure with positive change in thought process. We should develop a broader view, understanding of the reality and evolve the education system incorporating the spiritual and moral values through learning the anekantvad, nayavad, non-violence, theory of karma, etc., in resolving the conflicts and live a peaceful and progressive life with coexistence of all the diversities of all the being in the world. Thank you to all of you. And I express my gratitude to Professor V.N. Jha and Professor D.K. Rana to inviting me here. And I am enjoying with all of you to be here. Thanks.
Well, friends, to be very frank, I also consider, like Buddhism, like Jainism, like Sikhism, Jainism also a reformed Hinduism. And that is the reason that many people have, it is something like that. There also it is said, here also it is said. It's a continuity. But time and again you need to reflect, correct, make it holistic and make it available to the people. For what? For achara. Man has to change. And that change must come from within. And what are the methods for changing human mind? So, achara pradhana darshana, therefore. And so much of classification of each, the classifications which were not made earlier, a psychologist will find it as an ocean of information here in this darshana, Jaina darshana. So much of classification has been made, each and every concept. The aim was only that human behavior should improve. Your family bond should improve. Society, your social behavior should improve. You should be a good man. That was, so it achara pradhana. So application part was very much predominant in this. It is not that other darshanas did not have this achara. There. But they focused more here. By further and further classification, minute classifications they made of psychology of human mind and how to correct them, how to improve them, how to transform them. I think we have to look from this angle to Jainism. You see, the conflict, the term is virodha. In Sanskrit, the term is virodha. And virodha is defined. Another beauty of our tradition is intellectual, these are all intellectual tradition. And one of the defining feature of this tradition is that whatever we say, we first define. Because we want to take part in dialogue. And in a dialogue, the terms must be well defined. Then only understanding will be clear. And we can go further. So either acceptance or rejection depends on understanding. And understanding is facilitated by definitions. So, conflict, virodha. What is virodha? Virodha is of two kinds. One is called saha anavasthana virodha. One virodha is that there is a virodha between you and me, so either you should exist or I should exist. The attitude is like this in one virodha. So either you will be there, so you should finish me. Or if you are there, then I should finish. This is one type of virodha. Another type of virodha is malla virodha. It's a play. You want to win. The one wrestler does not want to kill the other wrestler. He should also exist, I should also exist. Both should exist. This had been the attitude of this pluralistic realism. And this is not the only system. Many systems, realist system, pluralistic system. And it is in such a society, pluralistic society, you must honor others' view. And that is the reason that you have this kind of a theory of anekantavada. Now, multi-aspectual reality. Reality can be seen from different angles. But simply because he says, you should not reject it right now. There may be another way of thinking. There may be a third way of thinking. There may be a fourth. So why you get agitated? So don't get agitated. And therefore, rationality occupied the central place. And that is why he quoted, and I will support it from the Nyaya tradition. The same rationality continues. It continues. It is in our ethos. Is it? That pakshapato na me kwapi. I am not doing pakshapata. I am not partial. I do not cling to one view. My view. This is not my approach. And I give you an example from the logical tradition called Nyaya tradition. In Bengal, there was a great logician called Raghunatha Shiromani. And he wrote against Nyaya. Come on. Nyaya tradition is going against Nyaya tradition. Oh my God. Then he should be killed? No. He wrote a book, and at the end of the book he says, I am aware that I have spoken something which is not in conformity with Nyaya tradition. Dushyam me vacha, he says. But I invite you to criticize me. Father, tradition. I invite you to criticize me. Dushyam me vacha. Param. One underlining. Nipunam vibhavya. Think, give consideration what I have said. Try to understand me in proper perspective, in the perspective in which I have presented it. Dushyam me vachaha param nipunam, carefully, vibhavya, giving thought to it. And if you do this, and still if you find that there is a place for criticism, nadunoti chetaha, I am least perturbed. This is the tradition. And he has quoted the same kind of a statement from this. So don't you see the tradition, how the tradition is developing? Those who have not been exposed to this tradition of dialogue with Jainism, I would recommend a book called Prameya Kamala Martanda by Prabha Chandra Suri. Please read it. I think you will need the whole life to read it. Friends, we should be thankful to Professor Jain for giving such a wonderful presentation. But I can understand that this time is not enough to grasp exactly in totality the all facets of the system of philosophy of Jainism. Just it's a glimpse that he has presented. You can have of it. Thank you very much, Professor Jain, for giving this wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.